Hey, how's it going, guys? And welcome back to Filzys Workbench. After a couple weeks hiatus, I finally finished the Eduard Hellcat kit. All I gotta do is just put the propeller on, and that is it. I don't even remember where I last left off. I was gonna go check what videos I did, but you know what? We're gonna leave it at that. I can tell you what I did get done. Paint job's done, as you already know. Gave it a couple days to dry, which actually worked out for the better. Then I sprayed my future floor finish for the gloss coat, gave that a couple days. Now I mentioned I was using old microscale decals for paper doll, which was flown by Lieutenant Carl Brown, U.S. Navy. Decals worked out a lot better than I thought. Maybe I didn't need the liquid decal though, but I figured play it safe, put them on. And I also used stencils from the old microscale decal kit because I didn't want to go overboard with this, with good reason. You know, keep it minimum, keep it simple. I mean, the decals from the Eduard kit, they're really nice, but it's just way too many stencils, and also, since I'm doing something that's supposed to be in combat, I ended up leaving them off and just kept it simple. And then there was the wash. The wash, I used a combination of Payne's Gray, white, and a little bit of burnt umber, and of course I used lighter fluid as the vehicle to get it to flow through the panel lines and whatnot, which actually worked very, very well. And I actually got the mix just right, because even though it shows up light on the panel lines, it shows up very dark on the stars and bars, as you already see right here. You know, there's kind of a faint difference, not much, but just enough to turn around and say, okay, it's got a little weathering. Once all said was done, you know, I did my decaling and the like, and my wash. I sealed everything with a tester's flat coat. I should have went with a semi-gloss, but I really didn't have any. So what I did was I took the flat finish, acrylic flat coat. I thinned it down almost half ratio, and I dusted on 2 coats. Once the 2 coats fully dried, I buffed it with a paper towel to give it a worn semi-gloss, which actually worked out for the better. Once again, set everything aside, give it a couple days. I wasn't adding weapons, wasn't adding armament. I just kept it to a minimum, and that's all basically what I did. Once all said and done, I took them. As you could tell, that reminds me. As you could tell, I took the masking off, and it was very, very sharp. Tamiya masking tape, some great stuff. I really do recommend it. Unfortunately, I broke off one of the barrels on the kit during assembly. If I find it, I'll glue it back on, but since I moved everything to a new area, as you can tell here, matter of fact, I'll give you a quick look at my workbench. Unfortunately, it's very, very sloppy right now. This is what I got right here, as you could tell. And back to that. But outside of that, this is what I've been doing. It's been a pretty chaotic week. You know, I had my son's baptism. We had his christening. Everything said and done. We're getting odds and ends wrapped up. So this was the first time I really actually had some time and took a break from everything and get everything said and done. In between, I found out that I should have done this before I did everything else. I had to paint the inside of the cowling red and put the white teeth on there. I still got to do some touch-ups here and there. I thought I had a bottle tester's flat white. No, I'm going with the Life Color flat white here, which looks great anyway. But it's really no big deal because it's Life Color. It's a good paint. I'm running out of things to say. Don't mind me. Landing gear were kind of difficult, but it was more on me being ham-handed than it was the landing gear itself being delicate. It's actually a pretty rugged landing gear. And last but not least, all I got left is a prop to put on. Unfortunately, I broke the prop here because I was a little ham-handed again. So I'm letting it fully cure for at least in about 2-3 hours before I put this on. Otherwise, the rest of the kit came out real good. The clear parts were a little bit of a challenge because they were small and they required certain colors. For example, the wingtips weren't so bad. I was able to glue them into the corners. There's your starboard side or the right side, port side or the left side. Red, green. You see this on airliners. I also had to put the lights in here. I had to put one light in there, one light in there. One was silver, the other was green, and then the lights on the bottom, which was 1, 2, and 3, which was amber, green, and red. Now, they were very small and very fiddly. I personally I think if you wanted to put landing lights in there, you can always drill holes in, put in some clear sprue, but it actually kind of looks better on this one, and it was worth the challenge. Otherwise, the rest of the kit, I'm going to say this. Oh, and I almost forgot. I actually got to test out my Badger Anthem airbrush for the first time, and for the exhaust stains, in case you could see it. I don't know if you can. You might be able to, but you might see something. What I used Gunsangyo's Aqueous Hobby Color for the exhaust. And I also used some Fun Tack, which I rolled up in a little ball right now because I didn't need any more of it. I got another ball somewhere. I don't know where I put it, but we'll not get into that. I used Gunsangyo's Hobby Color Oil, and I used Soot for the exhaust stains. These worked very, very well. I thinned down with some Tamiya thinner. This, since they are alcohol-based, much like the Tamiya, worked very well. Thinned them down, sprayed very thin and fine. Follow the trail, the aerofoil trail, and from the exhaust from point A to point B. And it looks actually pretty good in person. I don't know if you saw it, but it came out for the better. So that's what I got so far. I finished. That's it for the kit. Now, the conclusion I've come to with this kit, it's a great model. It really is from beginning to end. I do have some nitpicks, but that's just me being a pain in the ass. Like, the cockpit is well done. I would have preferred them to mold in the seat belts, but if you want, you can always get the Profile Pack, which is cost a few dollars more, which has the photo etch parts. You can tell this kit kind of relies on photo etch, but it has better detail in different areas as compared to the RE kit or the Hasegawa kit. Like, the scribing's better on the airframe itself. Cockpit, that's Hasegawa thing, but the kit itself, it just goes together. It is very well engineered, very well molded, very well done. Like I said, scribing's perfect. It's a little on the rugged side, which means you can get away with using a primer if you use acrylics like I do, or you don't have to. But it's very, very well done. Like I said, I was worried about the flaps on the tail and wings. Not a problem with them. They actually worked out better and added a little depth. Actually added a little depth to the wings, which was actually very, very nice. However, I do recommend adding a couple of styrene reinforcement strips for the upper half here, because it can be a bit of a struggle trying to make sure they just fit perfectly on there. The horizontal tail, not a problem. Vertical tail, no problem. It's just the wings itself. But the good part about the kit is the way the slab's set up. Even though it doesn't have tabs, slot and tab assembly, it's just slab-sided, you just glue it in. This actually works out because it's the way the engineering works, so it fits perfectly. And a good part about this is, as compared to the Hasegawa, I could be wrong, I gotta look through the Hasegawa kit again. You can actually, if you're doing the 3-color tritone on the F6F Hellcat kit, especially on the -3 variant, you don't have to glue the wings on. You can actually spray the fuselage first, then put the wings on, which makes life a lot easier, especially for beginner modelers who have trouble with the paint scheme and stuff. The other nitpick I have, the tires, but you can always get aftermarket resin. The wheels are actually, the wheels in general, they're more for the prototype. But like I said, you can always get aftermarket. True Details makes a set that are waffle tread or radial tread, or they don't have a tread at all. They're a little wider. My humble apologies. However, they're bulged. You can have them flattened, but not bulged. So I recommend sanding down the bulge, but you can keep it flat. As for everything else on it, it's just great out of the box. I mean, if you want, like I said, the one I built was the weekend edition, so I built it right out of the box. This is as good as it's going to get for injection molded plastic. The engine was a thing of beauty. The landing gear is actually a thing of beauty, and a lot of parts on that for Hellcat kit. Like you said, everything, the assembly, perfect. This was just a great kit from beginning to end. Outside of the fiddly bits that were the clear parts, and maybe some more, if you get the Profile Pack kit where it's got the photo etch parts, this is perfect for the beginner. And if you don't want to use if you're using the photo etch parts, no, I do not have decals for the instrument, so you you can always use the other parts too if you want to paint details. It's like I said, it's a beautiful kit from beginning to end. I can't comment on the decals. I only used maybe 1 or 2 stencils of it, and that was for the tail. But from the experience I had with them, they adhered well, they conformed, they responded very well to decal setting solutions. But I was using the old microscale decals, so that was my own thing. And even though, like I said, even though they were old, they still conformed well. They fit rather well. I had to do a little bit of cutting here and there on the decals to fit a little better. But otherwise, everything is beautiful on this kit from beginning to end. It is a great, great kit. And now I can put this on my son's shelf. It'll just blend in with the rest of the Lilo and Stitch stuff. And maybe I'll build that other Eduard Hellcat kit, or I might go with the Hoskow, depending on what kind of mood I'm in. But right now, I got an old Monogram F4 kit I am working on, and I should finish up. I'm not going to have that much time, so you might get a random video maybe once every week, maybe 2 weeks, depending. And will say this about the kit itself. If you find this kit, doesn't matter whether you get the weekend edition or the Perfect Pack, you find a royal class, take the ball and run with it. But otherwise, it's just, like I said, I highly, highly recommend this kit. It's very well engineered and very well done. Eduard really, really put Hoskow to shame with this kit, and Hoskow did a beautiful kit. Might not be able to find it, but we'll find out for sure. So, this is it. I will see you guys next time. Happy modeling, and take it easy.